the idea of just surrounding yourself with people who have achieved what you want to achieve. It's like, you can't fail in that environment. They're not going to let you. And people get nervous, I think, about reaching out to that, whoever that person is, or getting in their circle. And it's like, I've never once had somebody more successful than me tell me that I'm crazy for dreaming big. The people who all the people who tell you no and naysay and everything else are the people that,
are beneath.
Yeah. It's the crabs in a bucket, right?
Yeah. The danger is actually planning too small and then accomplishing it. So there's people that think that like the pinnacle of success in life is a 6-figure salary, riddled with debt, to where they are working until they're 65 years old. And then maybe they get a shot at 10, 15 years of arthritis and fun. So like, that's their version of win. And that's not, that used to be me too. I'm not crapping on it. I'm just saying like there's just different levels to it. And it's been a wild ride being able to have exposure to that, because everything that we talk about, you and I both, is on the shoulders of giants, right? And these people that we learn from, like even the David Osbornes of the world, worth over $100 million, they learned from mentors. He learned from Gary Keller himself. And so a lot of people that are listening to this may struggle with imposter syndrome when it comes to terms of these big networking events, or making your move to that person and trying to appear interesting or smart enough to earn a spot in that person's world. And I will give you the ultimate networking hack that will make you the most loved, beloved, and poured into person in any networking event or room that you go into. And that tip is this. You have to shift your mentality from being the most interesting person in the room to being the most interested person in the room. So when you go up to those people that are killing it and they're where you want to be, instead of trying to bang your chest and say, oh, I've syndicated, 500 units. And they're like, okay, well, I syndicated 5,000 last month. So what? Like, instead of that, you go up to them and you approach them with, hey, I'm Brian, what do you got going on in life? And then you just are sincerely interested in them and learning about them. Like, when you do that, you're their favorite person in the world. And so that's my hack that I use, because in our rooms in GoBundance, I'm always usually like the lowest guy on the totem pole, but no, people wouldn't really know that based off of how friendly I am with and how good of friends I am with most of the room, because I just simply care about them more than projecting my value, right? My value is that I care about them. So if you just do that, like, that's such a cheat code. Oh, you're going to take off in the world.
It's funny. My favorite presentation that I've been giving lately, and I've done it for about a year now, I have a presentation on like networking and content marketing, and all about like how to, whatever. And I reference this book called The Like Switch a lot, which is like all about, verbal, like nonverbal cues and ways to network and facilitate trust and whatever. But I literally gave this presentation last week in Kansas City at their RIA. And one of those points that I drive home a million times is like, so yeah, you give your little elevator pitch about who you are, and then you start asking them questions and you shut up and you just listen and you just build rapport and you are interested in what they are saying. Because if you show up to network with someone and you're an asshole, right, as opposed to just giving or caring, all they're going to feel is the cringe of like, oh, this guy's just trying to take energy. And so you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Like, and that's hard I'm a talker, right? So that's
you.
Yeah. So it's,
we met at one of these events. That's how we met. Yeah. And I asked you a bunch of questions.
That's true. And we're still hanging out.
We're still buddies.
Oh, well, just because I'm jealous.
Dude, and another cool point of that is another thing to just really drive the point home and land the plane. If you really want to be memorable, so maybe that's how you stand out, is being very interested in them, but how you stay memorable and how you earn the spot, maybe that earns you like the intro, but how you stay in their world is whenever they give you advice, you need to go above and beyond to do the said advice and document it and send it back to them. Nobody does that stuff. But like, if somebody were to reach out to me and say, hey, Brian, I'm just getting started. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to do real estate and do all this stuff in my job. I say, cool, buy this book. Then like, normally it's just crickets, right? Because here's what happens. So it's like, and I know that you've experienced this over and over again. When you first get like some semblance of success, people reach out and they say, "Hey, can you help me?" And then you pour hours into them, right? You're like, "Okay, let me tell you everything I know." And then all of a sudden you get burned like a dozen times because they don't do shit with it.
Yep. And they come back
like,
asking for more. That's the best part is when they don't do the advice
asshole.
And then they come back and you're like, did you do this?
I'm like, I'm done with this. Yeah. So then now people are like, okay, what do I do? And I'll say, okay, read this book or do this thing. And 99% of the time they don't do it. But like the 1% that do, like they will, like, if you really want to stand out, like take a picture of the book, send it to us, and then say, hey, love this book. Thank you for recommending it. Like I read it cover to cover. I took notes. Like, thank you so much. Let me know if there's anything else I can do. You're in.
This has become my barrier to entry. When people reach out and they're like, hey, I'd love to jump on a call with you. I'm like, great. Have you read my book? And when the answer is yes, then let's jump on a call.
Great example of this is, I don't know if you've met Chad Corbett yet in GoBundance. Yeah, Chad is a freaking insane dude. And him and I got in a call, and he was on my podcast. That's how we met. And then we are just such kindred spirits. And this guy's just so insane. He talks about this concept of feeling-based goal setting, to where he was having he had 3 7-figure businesses that he shut down in one day because he realized that they didn't make him feel what he wanted to feel, which was relaxed as an entrepreneur. He felt stressed and rushed all the time. And so he was like, okay, I'm shutting these down. I'm building a business that makes me feel relaxed. And I sent him my vivid vision, and he said, hey, this is great numbers wise, but how do you want to feel running these businesses? And I was like, ooh, that's a great question. So after he told me that, I went back and completely rewrote my vivid vision, and I put an entire section about how I wanted to feel, and I sent it to him like that night. I was like, hey, I made the adjustments that you discussed. And he was like, whoa. So I didn't even tell you about that. And to this day, like our friendship is literally based off of that. He was like, dude, no one's ever done that before.
That's huge.
So there's a tangible example. It works.
It does. It absolutely does.